Yes, Gaurav.
Okay. Okay, so let's start. So yesterday we talked about the Fiori apps which are available in procurement, using which you can carry out the procure to pay cycle, and we already spoke about the material ledger functionality yesterday. So we understood that material ledger is mandatory in SAP S4HANA, and when we say it is mandatory, it is mandatory from the technical point of view because the old inventory valuation tables are not available in SAP S4HANA, which means only material ledger tables will be updated for materials movements. And that is the reason from technical point of view, it has to be mandatory. From functional point of view, whether you want to use those functionalities or not, that is still up to with the customer. Okay, and I told you today we'll be starting off with the output determination, and which will be followed with the source determination that we were discussing yesterday. Okay, so we already created some purchase orders earlier. We already have done the Migo also now for them. So let me open any of the purchase order that we created earlier. Okay, so this is our purchase order, right? SL11 is the company code that we are using. So let's say this purchase order. Now, when you create a purchase order, definitely the idea is to send this purchase order to your vendor so that you get the receipts on the specified delivery date. Right. So if you just create a purchase order without sending it to vendor, there is no point, right? You want to send it to your vendor so that he can plan to send that materials to you. Now the question is, how are you going to send this purchase order? So in ECC, we were sending the purchase order. SAP was providing multiple different ways of sending the purchase order. You can either print a purchase order physically and send it to the vendor. There is also possibility that you can automatically generate the email. So whenever you want to send a purchase order, when you trigger the email will be triggered to the supplier email address. There is ad-hoc option also. Let's say, for example, if you are creating the purchase order for within the group, which means you have multiple different SAP instances, you are asking to like you want the material to be available from the same group, so you can do the ad-hoc also. As soon as your purchase order is created in the system, it should generate the ad-hoc and it should go to your partner system as a sales order, for example. So that all kind of things were available in ECC also. We are not talking anything new. Okay, what we are saying is definitely there has to be the mechanism via which whatever purchase orders you have created in a system, they must be sent to the vendor. Now, when it was already available in ECC, then what is new that we are focusing here? What is new output determination? So the challenge with the existing output determination is, again, there are cluster tables in the background. Okay, we'll talk about that. Cluster tables in the background means the condition-based technique, although it has been proven that it is a good technique, it provides you results, it allows you to perform the pricing, it allows you to perform the output determination, even the revenue account determination. There are a lot of things which condition-based techniques are doing today. But when it is compared to the BRF plus, that is business rule framework functionality, there is a lot of improvement can be done in those areas. That is one thing. Second thing, so first thing, ultimately it means the speed at which your output is determined and speed at which it can be communicated to your vendor. Second thing is, now when we are talking about digitalization, okay, SAP S4HANA is called as a digital core. What is the meaning of digital core? Digital core means you want to go away with this printing and sending orders. You want to go away with this traditional ways of doing the business. Digitalization means when you're talking about SAP S4HANA core, many companies are now going to integrate Ariba, Hybris in their own system. So when this Ariba is available or other cloud-based offerings are available, then it even more even becomes more easy for communicating with the supplier. So within the Ariba network itself, what you can do is as soon as you created a purchase order, it will be directly sent via the Ariba network to your customer. Okay, so you will be having the complete details, when exactly this order was sent, when exactly this order was received by the second party, so that normally what happens today, if you are, let's say you are creating the purchase order and you are sending the print, or maybe if you are creating the purchase order, you are sending the email, you don't have any track record, like whether it has been, when it was received by the vendor. So let's say, for example, if vendor is not able to fulfill his promise, he is not able to deliver the material on time, he can say, oh, I received this order very late, right? So to avoid these situations, now with this cloud-based technologies and all, it within the Ariba network, it is possible that as soon as the purchase order is created or as soon as it is triggered, you can get a complete idea when exactly this was received by the vendor. Okay, because this Ariba network is a consolidated network between your SAP system and supplier's SAP system. Okay, so but this cannot be done via our old condition-based techniques. If you want to make sure that this scenario is activated in your system, you definitely need cloud-based enablement, or you need something which is capable of doing it. So condition-based technique is not going to support that. That is the reason SAP came up with new output determination, which supports the new dimensional technologies, which provides the speed. That is the whole idea. But now, condition-based technique is already proven technique, and it is not only used in purchase order output determination, it is used in pricing, it is used in revenue account determination. There are a lot of things where the condition-based techniques are used today. So the plan is not to replace all. Maybe in the long term, yes. But today, they are starting one by one. So what they have identified, the first thing that should be moved from condition-based technique to the BRF plus functionality is purchase order output determination. Only purchase order output determination, because if you see the output determinations from the condition-based technique point of view, there are 10 or more than 10 outputs which are available. So in 1511, they just started off with purchase order. Okay, in 1610, they came up with purchase order plus billing document. Again, billing document was also some part of 1511, but it is now been streamlined. Okay, so today, if I talk from 1610 point of view, SAP supports the output determination based on BRF plus functionality. Okay, which provides the speed and the flexibility to the capability to integrate your system with supplier systems via Ariba and to send the orders via the Ariba network. Now, this BRF plus functionality is not a new functionality. BRF plus is something which was available from years, and it was basically used for creating the interfaces. So if you ask your technical guys, they will not be very they will say, oh, BRF plus is an old functionality. Maybe this output determination is something which is added in BRF plus now, but otherwise BRF plus is being used from years. Okay, so now only output determination has been picked from condition-based techniques to BRF plus, that too, as I told you, only billing document and purchase order document. Other documents can be printed via the old technology, condition-based technology, which means NACE. So whatever configurations you were doing in NACE for output determination, except for purchase order and billing document, all that configuration is valid even in SAP S4 also. Now, since this is a new technology, BRF plus is a new technology, NACE is having a lot of benefits. So if you see, let me just show you. In NACE, there are a lot of features which are provided by SAP already, because this functionality is used from years. So just for example, today if I will show you how much mediums are supported, how you can send the purchase order to your supplier. So you can send via print, fax, telex, external sends. These are the list of around 10 mediums in which you can share the purchase order with your vendor. Now, with SAP S4HANA with BRF plus functionality, all these are not available. Okay, they only concentrated on the mediums which are frequently used. Okay, so they identified, okay, print is okay, very important, email is also very important, then ad-hoc is yes, may be required, and fourth one, I think XML file generation. So these are the only 4 mediums which are supported by new output determination. Not only this, because the technology is totally different, there are some challenges in the terms. There is definitely the difference between NACE and BRF plus. So there are some kind of features which were available in NACE, but they are not available as of today in BRF plus. So when SAP introduced 1511, what they have done is for purchase order, they said only BRF plus is available. You cannot perform the output determination based on NACE in 1511. Okay, this has created a problem because maybe 90% of the customers are okay because whatever functionalities are provided in BRF plus, it consists of all the features they were using in NACE. But what about the 10% of the customers who were using some functionalities in NACE which is not available as of today in BRF plus? Okay. In addition to that, there are a lot of small customers who are not worried about Ariba. They are not worried about how you can move the data in cloud. So they are very happy with NACE. They want to continue with NACE. So that is something which came as a requirement from the customers. Customers said, okay, maybe you are working on BRF plus, that is good. It may be a very useful tool in future. Okay, today also, wherever possible, we will use, but definitely we cannot go away with NACE because there are some features which are available in NACE. Till the time those features are not available in BRF plus, can you bring NACE back into the configuration? And that is exactly what SAP has done. Now, when you're talking about 1610, in 1610, SAP provides both. Okay, so by default, it is new output determination. SAP is strongly recommending to go for it. Okay, but if not, if due to some reason you want to go back to NACE, that is also possible. Okay, so I'll just go in the backward direction. I'll just open this purchase order. Now, how you check like which output has been determined automatically for this purchase order? Even in ECC also, you go to this messages tab. Now, when you go to messages, the screen what you are able to see, this is not a new screen. This is same screen which is available in ECC. It is output type, any medium. It is showing all the 10 mediums. So what do we understand from this? If everything is same, this definitely means that in this particular scenario, the old output determination is configured. Right? If everything is supported and we are talking about new output determination doesn't support multiple mediums, the screens are different, the configuration is different, then how exactly we are getting the same screen in SAP S4HANA? This is definitely because the new output determination is set as deactivated. That is the reason the screen is exactly same as ECC screen. Okay, so now just with this background, let me show some practical things in SAP ECC first, like how we were configuring the output determination in ECC, and then one-to-one, like if this activity was done in ECC, what will be the corresponding activity in BRF plus. Okay, so I'll come to SPRO screen. Today in ECC, if I want to configure my output determination, what should I do? I go to materials management. Okay, I'm only focusing on purchase order. Okay, whenever I'm saying output determination, I'm currently just focusing on purchase order output determination. Materials management, I'll go to purchasing. Here there is messages, output control. Okay, and within this output control, these are the places where I configure my output. First of all, there are different messages types. Okay, so message types for request, quotation, message type for purchase order. We are looking at this. So maintain the messages types for PO. Now you must be knowing that NEU is a standard message type which is provided by SAP for purchase order. Okay, so when application is EF, which means it is for purchase order, we are only bothered about NEU. Now, if due to some reason you want to change the standard settings in SAP for output determination, or if you want multiple messages types in in your scenario, then what we normally do is we first create a copy of NEU and then we perform our required changes. Okay, so this is the first place where you come, you see which is a output type available for your purchase order NEU. And definitely before coming to this, here you just define the output types. Okay, but which output type you are going to use, that is defined here in the message determination schema. So how the system will know that whether you want to use NEU or you want to use ZNEU, for example. Okay, so that is defined here in define message schemas for purchase order. You assign the schema to purchase orders. Okay, so for example, now for application purchase order, the schema or the procedure that is defined is RMBEF1. What is this RMBEF1? So if I go back, okay, this is a procedure RMBEF1. If I go to control data, I can see for purchase order, it is using NEU as the output type. Okay, so whatever settings I'll do it for NEU. And once the system has identified that my output type is NEU, there are different configurations related to who is going to be the receiver, which means whenever you are going to create a purchase order, there are a lot of partner functions in the vendor, right? Bill to party, sorry, in case of customer, there is bill to party, ship to party, but in case of our vendor, these are the different partner functions which are available. So if I go back to NACE once again, for application EF, output types, for application new, see these are the different partner functions. Okay, so whenever you want to say the purchase order, you need to be clear, like which partner function are you going to send the purchase order. Okay, that is one thing. Second is obviously you decided this is my output type, you decided this is my receiver. Third is definitely you need to know to whom, sorry, to via which channel. Okay, so you know the receiver, you know the output type, you want to determine via what channel I'm going to send the purchase order. Is it going to be the print? Is it going to be the email? Is it going to be the fax? Okay, so that is third thing that you need to determine. Once you decided on the channel also, you need to decide on the form. What will be the layout of my form? Which what logo will be available on the form? What will be the content of the form? Okay, so that is the fourth thing. So these are the four important things. First, you need which output type. Second, you need who is going to be the receiver. Third, you decide what will be the channel. And fourth will be what will be the content in the message that you are going to send to the vendor. So for all that things, normally you come in this NACE, and in this output type, you specify different programs, different SAP programs which are going to take this requirement. You write the form routines, which will specify what information you want to enter into the form, and finally the form which is actually going to be printed, okay, according to the particular layout that you define here. Okay, so form things you define here. What about the channel? What about the receiver? Who is going to be the receiver? So normally those things are not the configuration things, because I can have a different receiver based on the vendor. So for example, if this is a vendor, the receiver is not the actual vendor, let's say it is the ordering party. Okay, similarly, if this is a vendor, I want to send it via email. If the vendor is someone else, I want to send it via print. So that is something that is not a configuration. Every time you enter a new vendor, you may have some requirements related to selection of channel, selection of receiver. So that is something which will not be treated as a configuration data, that will be the master data. So in the configuration, you specify which output type you are going to use, which forms you are going to use, okay? Based on what your conditions will come, like condition records. Okay, instead of condition records, let me show you the access sequence. Now, if the system wants to determine the receiver, the channel, what will be the access sequence in which it should determine? So here you specify that in the access sequence, you are specifying my access sequence is, first of all, the system will check if the document type, purchase organization, and vendor, if this condition is true, whatever is mentioned in the receiver tab, it will pick. Okay, let me give you the example. Maybe it will be difficult for you to understand if you are not from background. So let's take an example. Let's take a same example what is already printed and how it is printed. So if I go to ME23N again, this is a purchase order, and in the messages I can see system has automatically determined the receiver, that is VN. Okay, with VN role, it is automatically picking the vendor number. It has automatically picked the medium, which means the channel in which this is going to be sent. So it is print. How this is determined, how these things are determined. So these things are determined based on, first of all, this message output determination schema. It has identified that purchase order output type is going to be new. Okay. Then here, there are different tables, condition records, okay, output types we already discussed, and access sequence. So instead of seeing the configuration, let me show you the scenarios. If I go to MN04, this is a master data where you specify what combination will be used to determine the receiver and channel. So for example, if I say I want to do this for output type NEU, these are the different tables it is showing to me. Okay, it is saying me you want to determine the receiver and channel based on the combination of purchase organization or vendor, or you want the combination of document type, purchase organization, or vendor. So for example, if I select this, or maybe I'll just go with this first one. Okay, so here I can specify if my purchase organization is SL11, if my vendor is, whatever was the name, number of the vendor. Okay, this is my vendor. So if this is a vendor, I want if this is a vendor, I want this to be sent to partner function VN, which is the actual vendor. Partner will come automatically. The medium in which I want to send via print. Date on which I want to send, which means whether you want to send immediately or you want to send as a scheduled job. So normally we do it once in a day, which means whatever purchase orders we create in a day, we create a scheduled job in the night. Whatever purchase orders are created, they are triggered at once. And the language, what language you want to send, in which language you want to send the form. So if you specify here, next time, whenever a purchase order will be created, automatically based on this combination, system will determine the receiver and the channel, plus at what time this has to be scheduled. Okay, so this is a place where you are determining the important characteristics like receiver and channel in the traditional screen. Okay. Now when it comes to SAP S4HANA, the new output determination, this is, even if you maintain everything here, let's focus on 1511, then I'll come to 1610. So if you are using 1511, for example, whenever you enter all this information here, if everything is available, then too, when you try to determine the purchase order output, it is not going to work. The reason is because these tables are no more supported in SAP S4HANA 1511. Okay, so what to do in that case? So in that case, because only new output determination is available, we need to work on new output determination only, which is based on BRF plus functionality. Any questions till now? In order to understand what we are discussing, then I'll talk about what is new in SAP S4 now. Anybody has any questions? Okay, no problem. Yeah, so now let's talk about BRF plus. Again, I'm repeating, BRF plus is nothing new. It stands for Business Rule Framework, and this is a technology which is already being used for different kind of interfaces. But for output determination, this is being tested for the first time. So BRF plus is a functionality and also a transaction code. BRF plus, if I write here, it will open the web browser. Okay, there is no screen in SAP traditional GUI which will be used to configure BRF plus functionality. It will be totally configured from the browser-based screen. Okay, even from SAP Fiori, whenever you try to do this, definitely it is already the web browser. Okay, so there is no screen in SPRO from where you can configure this thing. This has to be done only in the web browser. Now here in BRF plus, this is a BRF plus workbench. First of all, let me tell you, as a functional consultant, we may not be having the access of BRF plus at all, because this is not our area. This is the place where our technical consultants will come and they will activate this BRF plus functionality for you, activate the content. Okay, I'll tell you why. But before this BRF plus, let me open another transaction, which is OPD, which stands for Output Parameter Determination. Again, this is going to open in, what is this? This is going to open in the web browser. Okay, here you can see you can create the rules for different applications. Okay, so as I told you, this is still the product which is under development. So they already included all this billing, outgoing check, payment advices, accounting document, but they are not functional as of now. As of now, only billing document and purchase order. These are the two things which are ready, can be used in SAP S4HANA. So we are bothered about purchase order. I want to determine the purchase order. I'll click on purchase order. Here, system will allow me to determine these different things. First of all, output type. So similar to ECC, in the message determination schema, we were saying that, okay, based on this procedure, any U is my output type. Okay, so here also, you need to specify what is going to be your output type. If I click here, it will open a table. Okay, so output type is based on what parameters? These are my output types and these are my purchase order document types. Okay, so what I can do here is I can specify if purchase order is, if purchase order has a document type NB, then I want to use this output type. Similarly, if I create any Z document type, I can assign that Z or output type also to that particular purchase order. Now, this document type is the only field that we can see as a selection field, but that is not the case. Whatever fields we were getting there, purchase organization, company code, purchasing group, you can add all of them as a selection criteria, then only you can determine the output. Okay, so currently you can see it is based on only document type, but if I have a requirement that my output type should be dependent on not only the document type, but document type plus purchase organization, for example, that can be achieved by changing this. You need to click on this edit button. Or there is some issue. When you click on edit button, you can change the table settings. So currently the table settings are like, it is only allowing you condition column as document type and the results column as output type and dispatch time. Okay, let me just try to resolve this. Normally, when you click on edit, it allows you to change this. Now it is saying object is obsolete because I think in this BRF plus functionality, what happens is today When I open this purchase order, let's say if I click on receiver, it is allowing me to select or change all these settings. Okay, but for example, if I go for outgoing check, for example, okay, and if I go to determination step, okay, it is still showing fine. Let me see any other one. Maybe they already added here everything. That is the reason we are able to see all. Otherwise, what will happen is when you use this for first time, okay, before your technical consultant has done some settings in BRF Plus, when you come here, you will be able to see all this list. Let's say outgoing check, but when you click on here determination step, it will not show you anything. It will tell you that the table is not maintained. What do you mean by the table is not maintained? This means BRF Plus is still not completed. So you need to go to your technical consultants. You need to tell them, please make sure the BRF Plus functionality is activated and the files are loaded. What do you mean by the files are loaded? So for each of the application, like purchase order, billing document and all, SAP has provided the XML files in one of the SAP note. I will provide you, even in my PPTs, you'll find that SAP note. So it consists of these files, BRF Plus files for S4 Core 101. There are 3 files, one for purchase order, other for outbound delivery, and third for billing document. So till the time these files are not uploaded in your system through BRF Plus, you cannot use this functionality. Okay, currently these files are already loaded. That is the reason we can see that the determination steps are available. Okay, but maybe if we are getting this error, even though it is available, it is showing some error. So maybe I can try once to upload these files. Purchase order output type, and if I want to edit, it is throwing some error. So I'll just try, and it will also help you to understand how these files are loaded in BRF Plus. In actual project, as I told you, this is not your responsibility. This will be handled by the technical team. So if I want to load these 3 files, or let's say I want to load only one file, purchase order file, into this business rule framework, how to do that? First of all, I'll go to tools. Okay, here XML import. XML file, it will ask, you just need to go to that path where your file is available, just double click here, and you need to provide the customizing request and workbench request, or I think maybe customization request is, no, sorry, we need both. So what you need to do is you need to come here, you need to create a customizing request and workbench request if it is not already available. So in our case, we can use this. This is my workbench and this is customizable request. So I'll just copy this. This is customization and this is workbench. Okay, what we are doing is we are uploading this BRF Plus file. Yeah, we are uploading this XML file, and obviously when system is trying to upload something, it will change the settings in the customizing also, and in the, because this is a technical thing, it also needs the workbench request. Once this is done, just try to upload and see if everything is green. There is something red, which means it has not been uploaded. This is the actual problem. The problem is this particular object is already locked. Somebody is maybe already working on this from the technical point of view with this transport request, which is not allowing us to change anything. I think this is our request only. Let me see. It is 93. This is a problem, some admin related task. Okay, I think maybe I need to check with the admin guys for this particular activity. But let me just give you the overview of this, and maybe once this is available, I'll show you this thing once again. See, what you can do here is when you want to determine the output type for the application purchase order, in that case, yeah, maybe Terry, I can try that, but I don't think that is going to work. Let's try to log off and log in again if that object is editable. PD. I want to determine the purchase order, and within purchase order, I want to determine the output type. Okay, and if I want to edit something, no, there is some issue with the admin. I think maybe they are upgrading it to the latest thing. Maybe the application they updated to the latest thing, but BRF plus is not properly done. That might be the issue. Let me check with them. Okay, so what I want to specify here is currently my condition is only one, document type, which means if this is the document type, the output type should be triggered as this. But if I want to change this to suit my requirements, that is the combination of document type, purchasing organization, company code, purchasing group, whatever fields I want to add, I can do that via, if I click on this edit button and if I go to table settings one again. Now, if I open the table settings, it is only in the display mode. So it is not allowing me to add some columns here, but I can definitely add those columns. Okay, and based on that, I can determine the result columns. So here system is determining the output type only, output type and dispatch time. So as I shown you earlier also, you can specify whether you want to print the output immediately or you want to print the output as a scheduled job, which means all the output at once at one particular time. So this is you determine the output. Next is to determine the receiver, like who will be the partner function. Okay, this is also something which we were doing in ACE. Now you are doing it in a receiver, sorry, in BRF plus. So if I click on receiver, it is saying if the output type is this, then the role that will work is this one. Now you are not finding VN here, right? It is not showing you VN. Why? Because in the browser-based technologies, if you have worked on SRM or maybe FSCM also, your vendor is not VN, it is LF. Okay, so there are some changes when you work on the browser-based screens. Okay, but LF is exactly same as VN. So which means if there is an output type is purchase order, that role on which the purchase order will be sent is going to be LF. What is this exclusive indicator? Again, this is not new. Even in ECC also you had the exclusive indicator, which means, let's say for example, if the system has already identified the role, system has already identified the ID on which the purchase order has to be sent. So if there are, let's say 10 different lines here, Once the system has identified the role, should the system stop there itself, or it continues to find the other lines also? So for example, for purchase order output type purchase order, I have written LF false, and I have written again purchase order, let's say GS false. So what will happen is, whenever you create a purchase order with this output type, it will first trigger the output with this role LF, and it will not stop here itself because this is false, which means continue. Okay, even after you found something, continue. You print this and then you go to here. So what it will do, it will create two outputs, one for each role. But if you write true here, what it will do, it will stop here itself. As soon as it got one line, it will stop. So it will only output one print. Okay, so that is something which is not new. Even in ECC, the option were available, like you can print multiple outputs for a particular purchase order. Let's say, for example, if you want to send it to your ordering party also and your vendor also. So what you can do is you can click here false, and you can specify multiple roles on which the purchase order should be sent. After the receivers, it is channel. Which channel will be used? Okay, so for if this is the output type and this is a role, this is a recipient. Now you can see there are three different condition columns. Let me see if I am able to change it here. Oh, it is allowing me to change. Okay, so I can show you the table settings. So currently, if my output type is this is a role, this is a recipient, then go with print. On the other hand, if my output type is, let's say, Z print, if this is a role, then go for this channel. Now, if I want to add a purchase organization also here, because my output channel is based on my purchase organization. So what I can do is I can click on this edit button, which I already done. I'm in the edit mode now. I'll go to this table settings. Yes, I can show you here. So here you can see condition columns are only three: output type, role, and business partner. If I want to add, I'll just click on insert from the context data objects, and you can see all these options are available. So if I want to add purchase organization, I'll click here and click on OK. So you can see it is also providing me the option of determining the channel based on purchase organization. Okay. What is the difference you are finding here? In the condition based technique, whatever fields you want to use, you need to specify as the condition tables, right? In the condition table, you specify what is the combination of your conditions. It's a condition records. If I go for new, okay, you are specifying different conditions. So my output is based on combination of purchase organization and vendor. My output is based on document type, purchase organization, and vendor. My output type is based only on document type. My output type is based on this combination. In BRA Plus, you don't need any access sequence. What you can do is you can decide what are the different fields on which you want to determine the output. So for example, in some of the cases, you may not require all these things. Like for example, here document type, I only want to determine based on the document type. So what I'll do, I'll keep all these things blank. Okay, only document type I'll keep it open, all other things blank. So if that is the condition which is true, then it will go for the corresponding channel, whatever it has been determined. So in this, I can have hundreds of mappings or hundreds of lines which are triggering the channel. And the access sequence will be like this. There is no separate access sequence. It is like this. System will first check first line. If it is true, then it will stop. If the exclusive indicator is false, sorry, it is true. If it is false, it will go to the second line, third line, fourth line, and it will continue till the last line to find out the correct channel. If it is not able to find out, then what will happen? Whenever you create a purchase order, it will show you the channel field as blank. So although it will determine the output type, it will determine the receiver, but because it is not able to determine the channel, that you need to specify manually. Okay, there is some question on the chat screen. Let me just see that first. Is there any change on the printer determined by user parameters? No, no, no. Printer and all, it is same. So you can still continue to configure the same way. In the user master, you can go and maintain the printer settings. That is still available. Okay, channel, after that, this printer settings. Okay, these are not the user settings. These are the settings which are coming from output determination. So changes will be lost because we already done some changes. System is asking whether you want to save. So I will just say no. Go to printer settings. Here I can determine the objects like what will be my print queue and what will be the number of copies. This print queue is same as printer, right? You can specify in which printer you want to print this. Okay, number of copies, whatever number of copies you want to print. Okay, so how it is saying, if the output type is this, if the recipient is this, the purchase organization is this, then go for this printer or this print queue. Okay, on the other hand, if there is some other combination, if you want to have two number of copies for a particular vendor, you can specify here. Or if you want to have a separate print queue for a particular vendor, you can specify here. It can be for different vendor, it can be for different purchase organization, whatever is your requirement, you have to enter here in a particular sequence. There are remaining settings are for email settings and email recipient. So if your SMTP port is active, whatever settings are required from email point of view, you can go here and you can specify the relevant settings for email. Finally, the form template, where you are specifying the form routine and the form that you are going to use. So for purchase order, normally standard form template which is provided by SAP in SAP S4 is this one. If you want to perform any changes, you need to create a Z copy of this form template and make the required changes. Okay, so only difference is instead of condition-based techniques, you are using the BRF plus framework with limitations, because let me show you the channel. It supports only 4 channels. Okay, so here, if I click on this channel part, why it is not allowing F4? Let me click on edit. Yes. So it is email, Ad-hoc, print, and XML. These are the only 4 options which are available. Even from Ad-hoc point of view, there are a lot of limitations. So Ad-hoc is also not fully supported in new output determination. So maybe you will be able to configure everything from here, but when it comes to the Ad-hoc settings, there are some limitations in Ad-hoc also. I'm only talking from the output determination point of view. I'm not saying that Ad-hoc are not going to work in SAP S4. From the output determination point of view, there are some challenges in Ad-hoc settings also. They are clearly specifying in the simplification list. Okay, now there are again 1 or 2 questions. Are they going to include all the channels? Can we add more custom channels? Okay, see, custom channels, I don't think it is possible. Okay, and at the same time, there are, as of now, no plans of SAP to include more channels. Okay, definitely not all the channels which are available in NACE, because as I told you, they want to restrict the companies to use minimum output channels, because as I told you, this is 90% of the companies are already using this channel. So for remaining 10%, I don't think they have any plan to incorporate that. At the same time, coming to your question, let's say for example, now if a customer is using the output channel, which is not available here. So what is a temporary solution as of now? So instead of going for Z and creating some, I don't know whether that is possible from technical point of view or not. That is a basic reason why SAP has now allowed you to switch back to new output determination. Sorry, to switch back to old output determination. So even after seeing all these things, if the customer thinks that, oh, functionalities are good, everything is good, but it will take some time to evolve. So maybe till that time, for next 6 months, let's continue using NACE. And once all these features, there is some workaround available in new output determination, then I will come back to new output determination. So that is possible in 1610 and even in 1511 now. Okay, when 1511 was launched, no solution was available and it was mandatory to go for BRF plus. But when SAP came up with this option to deactivate new output determination in 1610, they also provided a SAP note after implementing which even in 1511 today, you can control whether you want to use NACE or you want to use the new output determination. Vivek has a question, what data is available in the XML file? It depends. XML file is like a communicator, like whatever you want to, whatever is available in your program. Let's say, for example, if you are using a program, it takes a lot of data. It includes the supplier, material, quantity, whatever is required in the purchase order. So out of that, what format you want in the XML file, that can be definitely something which you need to work with the technical consultant. But only thing is, XML file is available. If you are happy with the standard XML file, you can use that. Yeah, good question. Is there a conversion program to transfer existing condition records to BRF plus? There is no conversion program, but there is an option available. So that will focus in the conversion project. Otherwise, it will get confused. So conversion, we are going to definitely talk how are we going to handle this particular requirement from the system conversion point of view. Okay, now let me show you a very important thing. As I told you, there is an option to switch on and off this new output determination functionality. Where exactly you can go and do that? So in SPRO, SAP reference IMG, you need to go to materials management, purchasing, again messages. No, sorry, something wrong. Purchase orders, yeah. You need to go to purchasing, purchase order. And here is, it is clearly, name is also very crystal clear. Activate or deactivate SAP S4HANA based output management. So currently, you can see it is 01. New output management is not active. Okay, which means old NACE based configuration is active, due to which you can see in our purchase order that we created, it is taking old output determination. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll make this as active. Click on save. Okay, so now this new output determination is active. If I create a purchase order, maybe I'll just copy the existing purchase order which was already available. Is this something that we created? Yes, it seems like. Okay, so this is a purchase order we just created. If I click on messages now, see the difference. Okay, let me show you this difference. ME23N. For earlier purchase order, it was I think 228, 248. Yes. This is old output determination and this is new output determination. So status, output type, which is NEU, output type, which is the standard output type in case of SAP S4HANA is purchase underscore order. There is no new here. This one, purchase underscore order. This is an application. So application was EF earlier. Now even the application is, there is no code. It is purchase underscore order. Output type is also purchase underscore order. Okay, so this is a default one. Now, whatever you can see here, ZEDI, ZNEU, ZPrint, these are all created by someone who is practicing on this server. This is the only standard output type which is provided by SAP, like new was provided in ECC. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I want to, system has not determined the output type, right? Because we are not able to maintain those configuration. But what if we want to print this output manually, for example? So what I can do is I can click on this change button, go to messages, click on new output. Okay, so let me just compare this. Yeah, so here it is new. Here if I select the output type, as I told you, the standard output type is only purchase underscore order. This is a, here it was partner function. Here it is called as role, same, which is VN or LF, whatever you want to enter. Okay, receiver, it should pick automatically based on the role that we provided, or even if you write VN here, because this is not browser based now, this is happening in directly in the system. Medium has been changed to channel. So there were 10 mediums as we discussed till now, but if you see here, there are only 4 channels. Sorry, this is receiver. Let me come out. Channels, only 4 channels are available. So let's say print. Okay, country is same without any change. Language, you can specify whatever you want. Form template, as I told you, the standard one is this one, PUR underscore purchase underscore order. Okay, so what is the difference? Difference is medium, it has been replaced with channel. Partner function has been replaced with role. Okay, and these output types are completely new. Okay, now if I just go back, yeah, no output device has been maintained. Let me maintain those also. If I double click here, I need to specify number of copies and the print queue, that is, let's say LP01. Back, save. There is some error. Let me just give me a minute. Let me see some configuration, which I'll be telling you in detail, but let me first check out what is going wrong. So new configuration is available here in cross application components. One is OPD, transaction OPD, that can be also accessed from this nodes. Output control, output types we already discussed. I think the problem is here. No, not here. It is in the print form templates. This looks like okay. Everything is okay. I don't know where exactly the problem. Something is in BRA plus somebody is already working, which is causing this issue, I think. Let me try once again. Definitely I'll not be able to. Oh, I'm able to see the PDF, but it is not getting converted. Okay, so there is no print preview available in new output determination. So in ECC, if you see here, in this output, if I go back, I have the option of print preview here. Okay, but in new output determination, if you come out, there is no print preview button. For new output determination, you need to go to messages and click on this PDF, which will show you the print preview. We are entering all these things manually because it is not automatically determined. If we maintain these things in OPD transaction, which has shown you how to determine the receiver, the channel, the printer parameters, all these things will come automatically in that case. Okay, to be output now if I, okay, any idea which was a transaction that we were using to print the scheduled outputs in ECC? Anybody remembers that transaction code? Whatever print jobs are scheduled, if I want to print them, where to go? Do you remember transaction ME9F? Okay, this is a place which is used for message output. This is for the older documents. Sorry, this is for the older output determination. Okay, but now, as you can see, application itself is different, message type is different, because now we have the application purchase underscore order, even the message output type is purchase underscore order. So we cannot print it from here. Even if I try, I'll get an error, no suitable purchasing documents found. So what should be done? There is a new transaction code in place for printing the scheduling jobs, and it is just extended with F. So ME9FF is a transaction which will be used to print the jobs which are coming from new output determination. Okay, you can see now the application is different, output type is different. If you specify the purchase order number here, or even if you specify the purchase organization, just execute it. Don't worry about this error. Okay, you will get this error, but when you go to school, you'll find the prints. Yeah. Something wrong. This is still showing to be put in, oh, sorry, to be output. It should be printed by now. Let me check this. There is something in BRF plus somebody is working. That is the reason I'm not able to change that. What I'll do is maybe I just want you to understand the concept behind it. But entire thing we'll configure like for a particular thing. Let's say, for example, if I want to determine the output automatically for this purchase order from OPD functionality, how I can achieve it. Maybe I can try once again. If it is working, that will be great. Otherwise, I'll just park this and we'll discuss sometime later. So I'm coming out of change mode. I'm in the display mode now. Okay, let's say for example, this is a purchase order and I'll go one by one. I want to determine the output type. Now, since I don't have the option here to change this, because if I'm changing it, it's not allowing. Actually, I wanted the standard one, purchase underscore order. No problem. Let's say system has identified Z and EU. Now I want to continue with this. So Z and EU, I'll go to receiver. Okay, in the receiver, I can see there are different output types. So I'll add my output type here, click on edit, click on new. So this is going to be Z and EU. And I'm specifying the role will be LF, which is it will be sent to actual vendor. And exclusive indicator, let's say false. Activate this. Oh, this problem. Okay, let me check. The entire scenario I'll show you later, but the conceptual wise, I think you got the point. What is new output determination? Where is a place you can configure? And as I told you, you can specify whether you want to continue using new output determination or you want to switch back to NACE. That option is also available as of today. Okay, so ME9FF is a transaction which will allow you to print the purchase order. So even if it is showing currently, we can see this purchase order is already printed. Okay, but still it is showing wrong thing. This is because of some BRF plus changes which are being done in the system now. Okay, any question from output determination point of view? Scenario, I need to tell you, maybe in the next class I'll try. If this error is resolved, I'll show you an entire scenario, like for a particular purchase order, how this fields will come automatically so that you don't need to enter this manually. Currently what we have done, we entered this manually that, okay, the output type is purchase order, the channel is print, the country is IN, but it should come automatically from the steps what we maintain in the OPD. Any questions?
Hey, Gaurav, this is Suresh here.
Yes, Suresh.
Yeah, and see, in ECC, generally what we do is we have the condition table, and then we have the access sequence. Based on the access sequence, we have the condition record. Right? This is the sequence. So in the condition table, because whatever in the web base, what you have told us, access to the condition table, it is happening dynamic. Is my understanding right? Because generally what we do is when you need a new condition table, what you do is from 500 to 900, you try to include a new condition table. Based on this new condition, whatever the field you want to, you can add that. And in access sequence, you can see that particular field. And based on this access sequence field, you have the condition records which is being created. That is how we do it in UPC, right?
Right.
So here, because whatever you showed, it looks like this condition table, it is not getting from the condition table, but it directly takes from the field, and you try to add those, because if you want to add the maybe the org, maybe whatever, if you want to add is add on sales org, or maybe on a purchasing org, if you want to add, you try to add that. If it is not there, because generally it's there in the standard, or any other field if you want to add, you try to do it dynamically. Is it
Yes.
not accessing the condition table itself?
No, no, no. I'll tell you why. Because see, what is the concept of condition table here is, let's say for example, if I want to create a new table, instead of displaying, I'll create a new condition table. Let's say 600. I don't know whether it is used. Okay, so what I can do is, in this condition table, I can use these objects. I can use company code, label type, ordering address, plant, purchasing organization, right? I can use this. So let's say for example, my condition table is comprised of purchase organization, material, for example. Normally I don't use it. Okay, let's say plant. So this is only my condition table. Let's say purchase organization and plant. Once I create this condition table, I need to go into the access sequence to specify in which at what point this condition table will come into play, whether this is the first check I want to put, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, according to the sequence. So what is happening is, instead of doing that in SAP BRF Plus or OPD functionality, if you want this to be placed on top, first check should be purchase organization and plant. If this is true, whatever has been identified, that is final, don't go down. Okay, so what you can do here is, you can add plant column and purchasing organization column in this table. Okay, you don't need any condition tables now. Okay, and you specify all other fields blank. If my purchase organization is this and plant is this, then go for this one. Second thing, now you want second condition column. In the access sequence, you have, let's say, purchase organization, vendor, and document type. So what you can do here is, you can create another line here, which will be document type, purchase organization, and vendor. All other fields blank. So what system will do, it will first check the first line. It will see, okay, if there is a combination of purchasing organization or plant available. If yes, it will go. If not, it will go to the second line, that is combination of purchase organization, vendor, and document type. Right, so there is no need of access sequence, because you can create that access directly in OPD, and there is no need of any condition table, because whatever conditions are already available like this, they are already available in OPD also, and you can utilize it according to your requirements.
Yeah, okay, Gaurav. Yeah, I got it right. Thank you.
Gaurav, Sandeep here, Gaurav. So we need not to, instead of, for example, if the access sequence is, the record which is, instead of searching one by one, if the one which I need it to be, get it accessed, if it is somewhere around 15th or 20th line, instead of that, can we select it somewhere that, only this one has to be, particular record only has to be read, the rest of them can be skipped? Because if it is reads everything one after another, will that not be taking a time or something like that?
Yeah, that is the reason this exclusive indicator is available. I told you. What is exclusive indicator? If your line is selected, if the record is already found, then it will not proceed if it is true. Let's say, for example, out of 100 lines, you found your record in the first line, or let's say 10th line itself, then you don't need to read entire 100 lines, right? You only, once you got it, just stop it there itself. So if you click exclusive indicator as true, it will stop there itself.
Yeah, thank you.
Gaurav, one more question. So assume that if you are going to create a new condition, maybe the output type or message type, so whatever that configuration, we have to go with the SPRO and we have to do that, right? If you need a different configuration, you have that particular table where you have a lot of maybe a lot of selection criteria would be there in any output type. So we have to go to the SPRO. We cannot do it in OPD or this web browse. We cannot do that. So is my understanding right?
Yes, yes, yes. You mean to say, if you want to add more fields, the fields which are beyond the scope of this, right? This one.
No, not this one. You go to the output type. When you go with the new output type, you have when you just display the new output type in a new type. Go to NACE.
Got it. So no, got it. Let me just tell you. So I think you are asking this. So as I told you, the configuration for new output determination is available here in cross application components. And here you have this output control. Now these are the different activities. So if you want to create a new output type, then you can directly create it from SPRO under this node. Okay, these are all the output types which are available. There are some standard ones and there are some C ones which are created.
Yeah, display any one of that, maybe.
Okay, let me show you purchase order itself. Yes.
Display, right. So you don't have, right, okay. Maybe a lot of fields are not here, right? Because
not required because the earlier access sequence, the print program, all the things you were entering here, right? Now they are not required here because you are directly maintaining in OPD. Okay, so that is the reason.
EPC with the new, the same way, if you can just display, I just wanted to see that. That would be a lot of other activities.
Older one you are seeing?
Yeah, older one, yeah.
Okay.
For the new NEU.
Okay, I'll show you. So if I go to EF and output types, and let's go for
display here. Yeah, and right, you have the other fields, right? Yeah, there are default values and the other one printer, right? Go with the default.
These are all things maintaining there. Display,
right? No, it automatically. Yeah, it is already there because whatever you are showed, it is already there. Except for the communication strategy is not there.
Yes.
Yeah, only that. And the other things are right. Time, I think this you have showed me. Output, right. The timing, it is right. And the last one is sort order, right? So that is right. Okay. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
What is the purpose of this? Normally we don't use this, right? Sort order.
Yeah, we don't use that. It is once the way you need to sort out the orders. Whatever. No, I am not. I have not used that. In most of the companies, we don't use that.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so OPD, as I told you, you can also access OPD from here. So the second one itself, define business rules for output determination. Once you define the output type, you can come here, it will open the web browser, same screen, OPD. Okay, all other things like this define rules for determination of master data and even assign form templates is, yes, little bit important, but this one is not required to be updated for each and every purchase organization. This can be skipped, I mean. So assign output channels. Here you can specify what output channels are supported for a particular output type. Okay, this doesn't mean that every time when you create output with this channel will be triggered. So for example, if I want to restrict that, okay, if purchase underscore order is there, I don't want any user to go for, let's say, ad-hoc. Okay, ad-hoc is not supported. So I'll not create that line here. Currently, if I show you for purchase order, you can see these are the two things which are only supported, email and print. So if I want to go for purchase order with channel ad-hoc, it will throw error because it is not maintained. The combination is not maintained here for ad-hoc. Okay, but normally we keep this for even this is provided by SAP standard itself. Okay, so you don't need to. Normally they provided email, print, ad-hoc, all 4 options together. But if you want to change, then only you need to come here. Otherwise, this is not required. And as of now, very importantly, form template. When it comes to form template, as of now, all these forms are available. So SAP scripts, which are very old technology, smart form, still available. Okay, and more concentration is on PDF-based print forms. Okay, so this is something which is under development. This is like same. If you are already using Adobe Forms, you can use it as a legacy. Okay, but going forward, the future for printing the forms, for all the forms, not only for purchase orders, according to SAP, it is going to be totally on Adobe. So going forward, this SAP scripts, smart forms may be completely will be out, but it will take time. Definitely, it will take time. So the recommendation from SAP is that if you are implementing SAP for first time, rather than going and investing time in smart forms and SAP scripts, it will be good if you directly start in Adobe Forms, so that your same forms will be used when we are no more supporting these features. But as of today, all these are available. Terry has a question. Yes, Terry, this is not the question related to today's session. She's asking, in the conversion, are we going to talk about the conversion of BP, material, open PO, everything, Terry, whatever comes under the conversion, whatever data you have, transactional, master data, even the decision tables, all that will be done in the conversion. Because it is not a big deal. Currently, if you don't know what is a conversion, it looks like a very good project, a very big or complicated thing. Definitely it is complicated, I don't mean that, but a lot of things are provided by SAP Cockpit. So many things will be automatically done, even there is no involvement required from the functional point of view. We just need to run those cockpit in a particular sequence, and all these things will be done.
Hi, Gaurav.
Yes.
Tishri. Actually, you tried to cover that topic in the earlier question. If you have to add custom fields in the field catalog, what is the process now in the latest, in the S4HANA? Is it the...
Yes, how you were handling this in ECC?
By mapping to the tables and all that, right? And
do you mean that? Okay, let me.
Yeah, if you go to the
I think I closed that condition table. Yes. Okay, let me open. Do you mean that if I want to add some more fields in this catalog?
That's right.
Yes. So how do you maintain this now?
Yeah. In the S4HANA, do we have a requirement like that, or?
No. What I'm asking is, in ECC, if you want to add something here, how do you do that?
We ask the technical person to get that field.
Yes, exactly. So see, what happens is this field catalog is coming from one of the structure. Okay. So
yeah, communication structure. Yeah.
Yes. So what your technical person will do, he will add those fields in those structures. So maybe now with SAP S4HANA, already they have provided more number of fields. I think fields are more than this, but still, if you want to add more number of fields in the catalog, again, there is definitely going to be the structure. Okay, from technical point, I mean, it is definitely possible. If you want to add something in the structure field, you can definitely do that.
Okay.
But maybe the structure may be different, because here current structure may not be used in the new output determination. The structure will be different, but that can be traced very easily by technical guys.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? So I need to show you one scenario that is due for me, but anything else that you want to discuss regarding output determination? Okay, so maybe I'll start next thing, and if you have any questions, you can stop me wherever you want. So as we discussed yesterday, so normally I take this topic in when we discuss about the MRP, because normally, see, if you create a purchase requisition, it is only one part of identifying the source of supply. But when you run the MRP, it has multiple different things. either the production order should be created, it is internal requirement, external requirement. So that is the triggering point of the simplified sourcing. So what I'm going to do is, whatever I was about to talk about in the MRP live session related to simplified sourcing, I included this in today's session. So anyways, wherever required, even in MRP live, if it is required to be reminded, we'll discuss on this. So what is simplified sourcing? As we discussed, that wherever system is automatically generating the purchase requisitions, or we want the planned orders to be created, system should be able to know from where to pick the data. Okay, which supplier to choose, in short. It may be the automatic creation of purchase requisition, or even was what we seen yesterday, that even if we create a manual purchase requisition, if you want the system to automatically identify which supplier can provide us this material, that will be good. Okay, so SAP S4HANA supports this sources of supply. Okay, so as I told you yesterday, the what was that? Sourcing, what was that? Sorry, just give me a minute. Source list. Sorry, I was not getting the name. Source list is something which is only supported for a exceptional case. Okay, source list was something which was very important in case of ECC, but now source list is only used for the exceptional case. Otherwise, there is no place for source list when it comes to SAP S4HANA. Very importantly, for in-house manufacturing, till now you were mentioning the valid BOM, valid routing in the material master. Now that is not required. Production version is mandatory. Okay, so production version means for each and every final product, you need to have a production version available, which means it will talk about which BOM should be used and which routing should be used. Okay, so for whatever in-house production you are doing, it will be always based on the production version. System will only provide you the relevant source if the production version is available. It will only be able to tell you the relevant BOM and routing if production version is available, because there is no more fields in material master where you can specify the default BOM and default routing. Okay, we'll talk more about that. Delivery schedules. What are delivery schedules? So if you already have a, let's say, contract with a vendor, or maybe already you entered the purchase order agreement, whatever it is, if you have the scheduled agreement that, okay, this much material will be delivered on this date, okay, then this is kind of agreements are called as the scheduled agreements, or in the scheduled agreements, we have the delivery schedules. Purchasing contracts, if you already entered with the purchaser on the value-based or quantity-based contract, so that is something which is a contract. And finally, purchase info record. Okay, so these are the only 4 valid sources of supply from where your supplier will be identified. Okay, but what about the sequence? How the sequence will work here, that is something which we'll understand. So let me just proceed. So source of supply is production version if the procurement type of the material is either E or X, which means if a material is produced in-house, then based on the production version, system will be able to find out the relevant BOM and routing. Okay, so if the procurement type is X, which means it can be procured from, sorry, it can be manufactured in-house, and the production version is neither locked. So it is not only production version is available, it should not be locked, or it should not be locked for automatic sourcing. And the planned material receipts quantity, definitely it must be inside the quantity range of the production version. So if in the production version you specified that the planned quantity is, let's say, 100 units, and you have a requirement of 500 units, then that is again the problem. So in your production version, whatever quantity is available, that should be more than the quantity which is required in your MRP run. And finally, the planned material receipt delivery date is in the validity period of the production version, definitely. So if your production version is from 1st of, let's say 1st of Jan 2016 to 31st of December 2016. So if you run the MRP now, that is already the expired production version, so that will not work. Okay. This will make more sense when we'll try to run the MRP run. I'll tell you what exactly is happening in the system. But as of now, just remember this thing. Production version is one of the valid source of supply in terms of BOM and routing. And this is the only source of supply for BOM and routing in SAP S4. Source of supply is a purchase info record if the procurement type is F. Definitely, if it is external procurement, then only this will be triggered. And the purchasing info record is flagged for relevant for automatic sourcing. I shown you one tick yesterday. In purchase info record, there is a tick which is relevant for automatic sourcing, which means for this material, this is the automatic source. Wherever a purchase requisition is created and the system wants to know which supplier should be used, for that material, first of all, it will go and check if relevant for automatic sourcing is available for a vendor. If it is yes, then it will be picked as automatic source of supply. Again, the last two things are same. So if you have purchase info record and the quantity which is within the requirement, it will pick, and also the dates. Okay, so wherever you are talking about the dates, it must be within the purchase info record, valid from and valid until date. Okay, I'm just giving the background here. The sequence we are going to talk about in the next slides. And finally, the source of supply is going to be the delivery schedule if the procurement type is F, and the source of supply is purchase contract if the procurement type is F. These two things are exactly same. So what does this mean is, in case of in-house production, only valid source is production version. In case of external procurement, there are three different sources of supply. One is your scheduling agreement, second is your contract, and third is your purchase info record. And similarly, the sequence is that whenever you want to purchase anything from outside, the first thing the system will check for the source of supply is there any scheduling agreement? Then it will go and check if is there any contract which is already open. And third one, it will go and see if there is any purchase info record in place. So this is a sequence which will be followed in SAP S4. Finally, the quota arrangement. Quota arrangement can be used to prioritize source of supply in case of several sources of supply are valid simultaneously. So quota arrangement, let's say for example, if system has identified that there are multiple sources of supply. Okay, so there is purchase info record also available, or maybe let's say there are two scheduling agreements which are available. So that which one to pick, whether to pick the first vendor or to pick the second vendor, that is specified in the quota arrangement. So quota arrangement will be considered on top of all these three sources of supply which are specified: scheduling agreement, contract, and purchase info record. Okay, so if the source determination, if source determination finds several valid sources of supply for the same material, plant, quantity, and date, but does not find any quota arrangements, then it prefers production version over delivery schedules, which means it will first check if this can be produced in-house. If yes, it will find the production version. If it is not able to find the production version, it will go and check the delivery schedule. If it is not able to find the delivery schedule, it will go for purchasing contracts. If purchasing contracts are also not available, then only it will go for purchase info records. This is a sequence. Okay, and if sourcing selects the production version as a source of supply, which means if it is manufactured in-house and system determine that, okay, there is a valid production version available, then the material receipt is going to be planned order. So for in-house manufacturing, always, whenever a MRP is run, automatically system will create a planned order. In case of material purchase from outside, if sourcing selects the purchasing info record, then the material is a requisition. The planned material receipt is going to be the purchase requisition. So it will create a purchase requisition in case of the material needs to be purchased from outside. Now let me tell you the difference, how this was handled in ECC versus how this will be handled in SAP S4HANA by showing you the simplification list directly. Just give me a minute. Okay, let me know once you are able to see the simplification list. You can check this out in page number 184 of 1610. Can you see this?
Yes, God.
Okay, so these are the changes which are highlighted. This is the normal SAP Business Suite logic, and this is SAP S4HANA logic. So first thing, in Material Master, there is a selection method, okay, which tells you which BOM to be selected when material needs to be procured inside, produced inside. Okay, so as I told you, now these fields are no more available. MARC, the selection BOM selection method, and all these fields are no longer available, because only the valid source of supply in case of determining the BOM and routing is production version. So production version are the only sources of supply for in-house production. The material master attribute, this one is no longer exist. Okay, this field you will not be able to find in material master anymore. Sourcing selects BOM only if suitable production version exists. So for example, if system has identified that this material is produced in-house, okay, but it is not able to find the relevant production version, then the plant order will be created, but that will be in error. Okay, it will not show you any production BOM, because it is not able to find that. Okay, so that is one thing which needs to be taken care. Sourcing does not need production version to find make to order and make to project bills of material, but production versions are required to select routings also if make to order or make to projects BOMs are used. Okay, so if you are using make to order and make to project scenario, even from routing perspective, you need production version, because production version is not only taking care of BOM, it is also taking care of routing. I think this second point is same about the routing. So currently, the order type attribute routing selection determines how the routing is determined during the production order creation. So within the order type, there is a routing selection field, okay, this one, which determines which routing to be selected. But now again, there is no role of this field, because again, production version is the only source of supply for in-house production. Okay, so BOM and routing both will only come from production version. All the other fields which were used earlier for BOM and routing, they are no more valid. In terms of production version is not a new thing, right? It was available in ECC also. So if the production version has locking indicator with values locked and not locked, MRP only selects production version that are not locked by default, right? If the production version is already locked, you cannot use it. Now in case of SAP S4HANA, MRP only selects production version that are neither locked for any usage nor locked for automatic sourcing. So this is a new indicator. We'll talk about this. Locked for automatic sourcing is a new indicator. So not only this indicator should be off, but this indicator must be also off in order to determine the relevant production version. Okay, phantom assemblies we can skip as of now. We'll focus later on. Yeah, these are relevant to procurement from outside. So subcontracting purchase requisitions are exploded with the method defined in the material master attribute. Again, there was a field in material master for subcontracting purchase requisitions. Okay, again, subcontracting also is something which is partly manufactured inside, right? Maybe it means you are not procuring the complete material from outside. That is the reason here also production version is the only valid source of supply in case of subcontracting also. If you use subcontracting purchase info record to define the supplier, you should define the production version in the purchase info record. This is important. In all other cases, system selects the materials production version also for subcontracting. Okay, so in short, even for subcontracting also, you need a production version. Currently, MRP only selects purchasing info record if the source list entry exists. Okay, so today, if the source of supply is coming from purchase info record, that is only valid for if there is a source list which exists and which is redirecting to that info record. But now, as I told you, there is no source list. So purchasing info records are source of supply in their own right, which means I'll tell you how. Yesterday I shown you the indicator relevant for automatic sourcing, right? So this is the only place where you need to specify that yes, this purchase info record is my source of supply. Okay, otherwise this source list is no more available. So simplification is what? It is not required to create a source list entry on top of purchasing info record. Purchase info record is more than enough with that tick. MRP uses source list to determine the vendors, contracts, and delivery schedules. Source lists are not considered in SAP S4HANA edition. See, there are a lot of places where they still are mentioning 1511, but this document is for 1610, so don't worry about this thing. Okay, so source lists are not considered in SAP S4HANA. In later releases, SAP has a plan. In later releases, source list can be used to provide additional information for source of supply. Okay, later releases, they may come up with something new, but today, if you want to control, as Terry asked yesterday, that if I want to block a particular vendor, how can I do it without source list? So only for that scenarios, source list is still available and that can be used. As I told you, it is only used for the exceptional cases. So for example, the source list may use to block a source of supply or MRP enable it only for a limited period of time. Maybe SAP will come up with something logical in that sense also. Source list will be completely off. Same thing, MRP only considers quota arrangement if the material master attribute, yeah, this is different. So quota arrangement is only considered when you use this field, quota arrangement tick in material master. But now there is no tick. Even if there is no tick, this means that quota arrangement will be considered irrespective of whether you activate it on material master or not. So these are some of the changes from the sourcing point of view. So the sequence you just need to understand. If you understand the sequence well, it will be very easy. Sequence is, in case of in-house production, only production version. In case of external procurement, it is scheduling agreement followed by contracts followed by purchase info records. Purchase info record will be only considered if automatic source indicator is on. Okay, source list will only be considered for exceptional cases to check whether a particular thing is blocked. Okay, I'd like to show you one more thing. We are going to see this in the system when we'll run the MRP, but as of now, just for example's sake, I found a very good article on SAP, so I'll just show you that. Just give me a minute. Okay, let me know if you are able to see this blog. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the example is included here. Anyways, as I told you, we will be seeing this example, but this will clarify your doubts related to the source of supply. See, if there is a material, for a particular material, there is no info record, there is no quota arrangement, there is no source list. Okay, let me first give you the scenario. Yeah, this is the scenario. Material is MAT1, has two scheduling agreements already created. Okay, with vendor 1 and vendor 2. And there is one info record, this one. So how system will identify the source of supply? So if info record, as we said, already maintained, but that indicator is not ticked, automatic source indicator is not ticked, quota arrangement is not in use, and source list is also not available. So MRP, as I told you, will choose what? The first one, scheduling agreement. Why it will choose the first scheduling agreement? See this. So MRP chooses the first scheduling agreement because if it is purchased from outside, the first priority is given to the open scheduling agreements, then to contract, then to purchase info record. So if they found 2 scheduling agreements are already created, then why SAP has identified this first one? That is explanation given here. So MRP chooses this. The default logic is applied as mentioned in SAP note. If sourcing valid sources, same thing. Then it prefers production version over delivery schedule over purchasing contract, and purchasing contract over purchasing info record. Okay, it has not provided the result why it has not selected this the second one. I think the reason is based on the quantity and dates, it has identified this scheduling agreement. Okay, but ultimately the source of supply is scheduling agreement if it is available in the system. Second is if there is a purchase info record already available with auto indicator set. Okay, there is no quota arrangement in use, there is no source list. Then also system will choose the same scheduling agreement. Yes, oldest scheduling agreement. Why? Because if the scheduling agreement is available, it will not go and check whether purchase info record or contract exists at all or not. If there is no scheduling agreement, then only it will go to contract. Then only if contract is not available, then only it will go to purchase info record. So there is no question of even if it is available, this will not be triggered. Third one is if purchase info record has the indicator set, there is no quota arrangement, and what is this? Yes, source list is available, but it has blocked this file. Okay, as I told you, this will be only used to block some of the sources. So by default, this was coming, but since it is blocked, it will go to the next scheduling agreement. It will pick the second scheduling agreement. Again, source of supply is, info record is ticked with automatic sourcing indicator. There is no quota arrangement, and both the scheduling agreements are blocked. Then definitely it will go to purchase info records, because after the scheduling agreements, it will check for contract. There is no contract. It is coming to purchase info record. Okay, so similarly, I hope you got the idea. Maybe I'll share this link also with you if you want to go further into this.